Not by a long shot.
Alright gamers, check this out. When Lux deploys a Sparkle Simper next season, you get your typical slow effect, but with recent changes to this boy, that slow now passes the interviews for the role of buffing the blow up, which is a fancy way of saying they just gave this beauty of a blonde a 10% damage buff to her easiest ability to land, plus a plethora of other unneeded buffs, plus new toys in the AP item department to play with, meaning Lux no longer gonna suck. So in this video you will get my super serious gameplay guide on how to not sucks on Lux. Starting off, when you play this booby beaming babe bot, your objective early should be identifying their team's minion executioner and making sure that Ho always has a giant star over her dumb face, and when you hit 2 it's time to imprison the Sheriff of Tiltover herself. But note, if you stand around there rubbing your nipples for too long afterwards, it may become an expensive trade for you. Anyways, you need to remember you are playing one of the most attractive characters in the game, so there likely will be a grumpy grandpa going pervy peep status in the nearby shrubs. You need to catch him in the act and display your disapproval of the creepiness with a cookie cutter into cash for my carry combo that shitter. This should excite your carry, as theirs may hesitate like she ate one too many cannabis cupcakes, so it's important that you decline any interactions with her beam rifle by staying far back and supporting anorexic Jar Jar Binks from the stands. And while Rift Alexa might not credit you for your work, you know that Ho wasn't getting a double herself. You continue the crusade of keeping stars on the sniper's face, but then around the 5-minute mark you need to arrive fashionably late at a meeting upstream, as there will likely be a disagreement over who gets to adopt the large wild crab turtle, let's call her Tamara, and seeing as you are the pajama power of attorney to the polar bear, your presence needs to ensure that Tamara be coming home with daddy. Turns out your grown-up cub of a client kills Tamara and greedily wants something bigger, something more fierce, and even though you are a scuttle crab custody expert, he is still on the clock, so you slyly assist. That is until others notice you, so you need to inform him that there's too many legal hoops involved in dragons, and then you make like a fart and blow that shithole. Okay, now the next steps are important here, as if you have been properly star stamping that fuzzy cuff simp's pie hole, then she will likely be glowing like freaking foil in the microwave, so you greed like it's something you need. And when you get Ravenclawed, you must Hufflepuff on the dude so that the tower taps you. And why, you might ask? Because that will get you to a calculated 15 HP, cause 15 HP BJ Lux is the exact phrase plastered over Pervy Pete's P-Hub search history, so he absolutely will die just to get a closer look. At this point the angry amputee is so blue-balled there is visible semen sprouting from his eyelids, so you let Becky Big Braids burst him down, and if you wiffle ball bat your bind, it's okay, just whip a W at the shitter, he won't know he's staring at your bosom, which will leave him dead. And Snipey Sally running, which presents the perfect opportunity to fire up the titty laser, giving AD another double. We off, boys. It would be in your best interest at this point to put some cameras in the river, because the loser that you litigated scuttle crab custody from earlier may be vengeful, and it's not fair that Jar Jar Jinx has to suffer for Zin to settle the scales with you, so it's important he gets tied up and slapped like an insubordinate child for such behavior. Side note, if you notice that forbidden channels of communication are still somehow open, you should immediately use them for their intended purposes before roaming upriver scanning for Wi-Fi, only to find Pervy Pete admiring once again, so you sup diff his limp dick and then highlight the fact that the ungrateful bastard who got his crab custody was in a position to save you, but decided nah bruh nah instead, and after all you've done for him he has the audacity to ping your item like kill me for having fun / getting my AD fed as fuck, so you inform him that you had a feeling he was a shit person, but now it's confirmed # using team chat the way it was intended. But you didn't put your PJs on this morning just to be a total bitch, so when you see him slap fighting Edgar Allan Poe you wait for your moment, then send a laser straight from tit to twat before typing that it was all you all along. Okay, then you recently expanded your certification from just scuttle crabs to obese frogs as well, and want to take on your first case. This one is tricky though, because Troll Kingdom Barry Bonds has been giving a steroided ass kicking to Jay Jinth up here, so what starts out looking like an easy appeasement turns into a shit pie festival ending in a 1-for-1, but what's important is that the fat frog has been saved. That said, this cave-dwelling underbited slugger is benefiting from top diff, so despite you rocking enough peel for a bustle of bananas, your ADC still dies because she's after all an ADC. Then it's important to note that it is now your responsibility to start the next team fight, so you bait out the fruit ninja, as baiting is your job. Blondes have been doing it on the internet for ages, and then after patiently picking your spots you whip out the starburst pack and deliver a piece to all the orphan morons. At this point the cute queef of lore cops and robbers between Jinx and Caitlyn is definitely in favor of the crime-ridden side, so you stay out of it but lend a long pinky stings her way to get her glowing. She will think she's in the clear, but a Death Rocket first name Mega is in the business of finishing things like this. And if this were an MMORPG, you would have just unlocked a new combo where you Lux laser a shitter down to a fraction of his health, and then your anorexic albino gun slut of a sidekick comes in for the mortal finisher combo Big Bad Boy Rocket to finish the job. Ahem, to finish the job. There we go. At this point you honestly just feel bad, so you inform the enemy team, who is definitely edging with the FF button, that they can claim their free dragon bounty, and you should be serious about holding out this promise to extend the game in favor of more content, but your teammates are the type of people that would bang a dead bear just to get their dick wet, so they ruin the generosity and continue giving all chat a bad name, so just apologize and then double down on your offer.
Haha Tommy, I told them they could get a free dragon, but when they come I'm gonna ban. Aw shit.
Swain will continue trying to full drool from the dome, gaze at your stellar ass, so remind him that he's pathetic. Kill a wind shitter under tier 2 turret, try once again to make a deal or no deal with the troll, knowing very well that these sharts straight out of Howie Mandel's anus are gonna say no deal every time, so you steal their kill, and voila, the support portion of this guide is so masterfully complete. Alright, now in the mid lane you will likely be playing against the greatest early game champion ever, so it's important not to mess up the level 2 flash Q auto E auto ignite combo, or he will survive, and he is the best early game champion ever, so if this happens you need to go nomadic nipple status ping that you are coming for that little shit scout up top, and be fully prepared for your teammate to do something that has you wondering if his brain cells were marinating in Mountain Dew all morning, but it's okay because you've played solo queue enough to expect inting idiots at this point, so you push on, and despite this hobbling mushroom tip juking your Jace jungle, you don't get fooled by such child's play. Then you come straight back up and lead the same exact way you did last time. But you need to persist on, its imperative, because everything about this Volibear says that he will be about as useful as a poopy flavored lollipop if you don't hold his hand through laning phase, so you wait for the dressed up rabbit to try and pull the same shit that failed last time, then you secure your kill and cut the scene before people see you die immediately after. Keep in mind we are avoiding mid because that's the greatest early game laner in the game, being played by Faker 2 if I didn't mention it, so you politely instruct your bot on how they should conduct themselves, and this should work out pretty well, resulting in Ellen DeGeneres being dead as shit on the ground. But listen to me, you must stand behind your teammates or else you could get once you get pulled you must flash out, regroup, and titty laser the tin twat exactly how I did here. Then come straight back bot. There will be a school bus in the shrub spewing bullshit about how he doesn't rust or some shit, so you need to melt him with the long beam and watch White MC Hammer realize that he's allergic to the calamari he just ordered. But now listen carefully, Tom and Jerry are going to be off tickling each other's nipples while you are getting served octopus 8 ways to the base, and you will die, but it's crucial to let them know their mistakes by saying, "Hey cat, breathe queefs into my face next time." At this point you can be back at mid because the floating tentacle titty licker is in base, and you can overextend as long as you have no charges on your warding totem, as it will reduce the flame you get from the backseaters. Then when you get inevitably ganked you say, "Hey, going north," then say, "Psych bitch, I'm going south now, mewa haha, get baited you dumb goat shepherd slut." But you must remain patient, let him get all his hops out, and then tie him up and prove why Lux needed these buffs so bad. So now you are likely sitting at full build, meaning it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the fruits of your fed titty laser labor. If you are still here, prove it by telling me how many times on average you wake up to pee at night. I think I have a problem because I rock 4 to 5 pisses every single night. I just want to catch some rems you feel. Rav out.
Don't fuck with Rabby boy, I'm in your crib with the blappy boy. Talk to me slick and I'm popping your pappy. If happy talk back, then I'm taking your Grammy, and boy oh boy I'll make her happy. Let's go.